it could happen to all of us. It's a situation. Easy. And you may be sitting out there, it's not going to happen to you. That's the person that are looking for.
Yes.
It's the person that it would not happen to. It will happen, and so talk more about that.
So I always say that why do people rob banks, right? They go to rob banks because that's where the money's at.
Yes.
Okay. So why do people target people who are buying houses? Because they're getting ready to spend money.
Right. And lots
and lots of money. They're very stressed. They're very busy. They're going through, our whole process is almost digital anymore, right? Carrie Ann, you guys have a great digital process where people go through this to make it seamless and easy for folks because everybody's life is busy.
Right.
The downfall to part of that is that, people just assume that everything that they get is the word.
It's valid.
It's valid. And they don't do any checking. They just act on it and they just go because they're like, oh my gosh, it's the house. I got to go. I got to go.
And they asked me to do it, so I'm going to do it.
I'm going to do it right now. And, these are very high-tech criminal organizations.
Right.
This is not some guy who's got a iPod or iPad who's sitting in his mom's basement trying to figure out how to hack into your system. These are worldwide criminal organizations that sit and lie and wait for...
And watch.
Weeks, months, years. And all they want is one person just to slip that one time. That's it.
Get in.
And then they swoop in and get them. So it's really important to understand, Bonnie and Carrie Ann and Jason, how does it kind of happen? What goes on? What is this? And so there's a difference between people's systems getting hacked and getting broken into as opposed to somebody getting a spoofed email or a fake email or a fraudulent email. And so a lot of people, what they get is they don't use secure emails if they're doing their business. They may have a Gmail account. Everybody does. Everybody has Gmail, Outlook, Hotmail. I have my work account, and then I have my personal account that I send stuff to. And so people work through these email accounts because they don't want to send their private stuff through their work. The problem is that when you're working with unsecure emails, because you get a free account, so free, I love free, it's in my budget. But the problem with free is that you don't get any of the security features that your work or your business emails may have. And typically these accounts are actually mined by the providers to sell that data to third-party vendors so they can direct market you stuff. They want to sell you stuff. Google, get a Gmail, they want to try to sell you stuff.
Right.
So, you're better off standing on the street corner hollering what's in your...
I'll never forget
Nothing's
you
ever
saying
for
that.
free, right? That's what we all have to remember.
I'll never forget you saying that at a class that you gave to us at Carrie Ann's place a few years ago. That I remember that visual that you might as well be standing on the side of the busy corner and just shouting out to everybody your business information because it's that easily available.
It's that free, so you just don't get the security features that I, Carrie Ann, or Jason all have that are industry standards in our business that we have to have in order to protect people's privacy and information that goes on.
But again, you'd think Gmail would be safe, be secure.
Of course. But if it's free, you're not getting any of the upgrades that you would have in a typical email setting. So, Gmail does offer a paid service.
Right.
You have that G Suite's what it is. And then you can start getting some of that extra stuff. We laugh all the time about the IRS because the IRS they communicate through faxing. And people go, who has a fax machine? There's a thing called electronic faxes now, by the way. Nobody really has our machine going on. So
I had one of those one time.
Yes, but the reason that the IRS uses fax machines is because it's a direct point-to-point contact. Okay, so they'll mail you something or they will fax you something. They will not allow emails, and so because it's a secure connection. I had my IT people tell me one day that if you ever want to avoid wire fraud situations, and you never need to communicate via email, which is impossible, right?
Right.
It's just not going to happen in our industry. People are busy. And so what we have to do as a unit, as a team here, is continually try to educate one another about how to better protect our customers and our clients who may not be as educated as we are about it.
And we have to forget, we sometimes forget that it takes a village to close a transaction. So all of those people could affect the buyer some way. So these people that are hacking in could come through insurance agent, get to buyer, right? Title, get to buyer. Agent, get to buyer. Lender, get to buyer. Anybody and everybody can get to that buyer's email address and then follow to see exactly what's happening to a point where they send a wire request and put your name on it, title company's name on it, lender's name on it. The situation that just happened over the last 30 days, I wasn't associated with that, but it was with a very well-known mortgage company and one of the top loan officers in town. So I know for a fact they put strategies in place. I used to work at that location, right? So I know that they have that. So, but how did they get hacked? It could come from anybody and anything is what the situation is happening with.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that people don't even realize that don't work in our industry that could be a problem. When you have free emails, one of the things I tell people to do is avoid free Wi-Fi's. How many people do you see in Starbucks or Panera that are just sitting in there working all day? If they're somewhere out and about, they hop on somebody's Wi-Fi. How do you know whose Wi-Fi you're even on? It could say Carrie Ann's the greatest loan officer, Wi-Fi.com, but how do you know that's actually Carrie Ann's Wi-Fi?
Right, that's true.
So people are just freely clicking on these free Wi-Fis, and as soon as you do that, it's like opening the book. And
so even with a secure email address, using a public Wi-Fi that's opening
it's problematic. Yes.
Okay.
Now it depends on some of the stuff, the features, security features you have on your email. Okay. I mean, there are things that we can talk about, some extra security measures that people can do to protect themselves. But yes, anytime you're getting something for free, there's that word again, right? Free. You have to be concerned that there's problems that are going to follow from that if you're getting the free stuff. If I'm out and about and working somewhere or I'm traveling, I either just use my cell phone hotspot. I won't even get on hotel Wi-Fi's anymore.
Oh, really?
No.
Yeah.
I will not get on hotel Wi-Fi's. I will not get on other people's Wi-Fi's just because of what I have learned over the years of
that's really good to know.
I just try to eliminate risk where I can, period.
Well, because you personally have, we all do, have a lot of their information, because of me holding onto their social security number and everything, we have transfer links, and I'm surprised how many clients just email over stuff just freely. With no concern at all, pay stubs, W-2s and things like that. So, taking a moment to continue to educate is so important. People want to be us. I saw an email over from my owner, the president of the company. His initials are CMG, right? So this is the owner. He and I are friends. I would have no issue responding to him quickly, and I was about to respond to him, and I just happened to glance at the email address, and it was so and so and so and so at Gmail. So the name was his, but it wasn't his email address. But I was almost caught, in the mix of it. Now, I do think our corporate office does that to catch how many people mess up, to keep us on our toes all the time. So we do, because I do think a lot of people, without being trained, practice builds confidence. So you have to continue to, see that stuff coming at you to know that it's fake, and or know that things can happen. But like you were sharing that a phishing email could be a little bit different than a hacking situation.
That's correct. A phishing email is just where a fraudster is just basically reaching out to gauge your interest to see if you nibble on that. Okay, just to buy. A hacked email or if we have an intrusion, that's the word really I think our people use is intrusion, is if somebody got inside our network itself. We've somehow, some way, we've provided credentials to somebody because we're a victim of that, and they're actually impersonating us inside our system, sending information in and out of our servers. Our IT company can actually track that. They're able to see IP addresses, which are like phone numbers, right? So they're able to track and see if there's been any intrusions, any remote logins that aren't flagged. Like we have these alerts that pop up if these things try to happen that notify that we've had an intrusion on our system. We actually have to have intrusion tests done on our network about at least once a year. We do them a couple times a year. They're very expensive. Very, very expensive.
I would assume we do as well because our IT is, so secure,
yes.
and that's important to a point where you're supposed to lock this and you're supposed to do that, and just from within your own office. So everything is needing to be secure. But we forget that. What about that client's account at so-and-so other company got hacked, right? Meaning
Yes.
it's not about us all the time. The client can get hacked somehow, some way through different strategies. Yes?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, if, like I said, they could be a victim themselves and not even know it.
Right.
They could have clicked on some link that they thought was an accurate email or something that they were supposed to open, and all of a sudden it's put ransomware or malware or something on their system. And there's a thing called like a keystroke bot out there. If I've learned all this stuff that where they can put this malware on there, and they basically can just watch as you sit there and type on your computer, word for word. Everything you're typing, it's just meant they can see it on their screen, and so that's how they know. And a lot of people don't know. You hear these stories on these commercial sell stuff where people are selling your stuff on the dark web. I mean, that stuff exists. I mean, you can go to the dark web, and there's, I don't know how to get to it, but you can see, when people have compromised emails or vulnerabilities in their systems and websites and stuff, and determine that the people that do have that have a trouble.